When you stop creating, it just means you're more in love with your past than you are with your future. That's all. But you know, that intelligence that's giving you life, the observer, you can develop a relationship with it. And when your will matches its will, and it has an amazing will, when your mind matches its mind, and it has an infinite mind, and when your love for life matches its love for life, it always answers the call. And what about the soul, huh? Soul's interest is the unknown, it's adventure. You know, we came from source, slowing down in density until we finally arrive in 3 dimensions. And why did we stop here? Tiramisu. We stopped here because of tiramisu. And all of a sudden we decide to make our way back up. And you know, you wake up in the morning, you come back to your senses, you glance over at the person laying next to you and you go, how did I get here? Then you sit there and you go like this, wait, let me think about all my problems. Oh, now I'm starting to feel like myself. Then what does everybody do after that? You reach for your cell phone. You check your WhatsApp. You check your Twitter. You check your texts. You do your Facebook. You tweet how tired you are. Then you check the news and you feel even worse. Then you check your email, then your other email. Then your Pinterest and your Snapchat and what else is there? I don't know, Instagram. And now you're ready because the personality is reaffirmed. And here we go. You get out of bed, the same side. You have the thought of the toilet, and there you are. You're in front of the toilet. Then you have the thought of the coffee maker and your coffee cup, yours. Nobody drinks coffee out of that cup. And then there you are, right in front of the coffee maker. And then you have the thought of the shower, and then there you are in the shower, and washing yourself the same routine ways that you always do. And then while you're in the shower, you're imaging what you're gonna wear. So creative. And the next thing you know, you're dressed. And then you think of your car, and you're in your car. Then in your car, you drive to work the same way. You get to work, and you see the same people that push the same emotional buttons. You use your boss to reaffirm your addiction to judgment. You use your coworker to reaffirm your addiction to competition. You use your Facebook to reaffirm your addiction to insecurity. And all along, you're using your environment to remind you of who you are. Now, your personality is no longer creating your personal reality. It's your personal reality that's creating your personality, and you are victim to the circumstances in your life. And then you do the things that you can memorize and do so well, and then you stop at the grocery store, you buy your same food, you eat your same meals, you watch your same television shows. Then you get in front of the mirror. You do the lotions and the potions. And then you get in bed, you open up the book, you read one paragraph, and you wake up in the morning, and here we go again. Because a habit is a redundant set of automatic, unconscious thoughts, behaviors, and emotions that are acquired through frequent repetition. So the habit is when your body goes on autopilot. So if you've been doing that for 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years, your body is already programmed into a predictable future based on what it did in the past. As a matter of fact, we could take your yesterday and lift it up and set it on tomorrow. And that's called karma. That's it. But there's no unseen hand doing it to you. You're making the same choices, the same behaviors, and the same experiences to reaffirm that same emotion that you call you. So my definition of creation is when you forget about yourself. You are so present in the moment, you're no longer a face. You're no longer a skin color. You're no longer a gender. You're no longer a sexual preference. You're no longer a diet. You're no longer a profession. You're no longer a wardrobe. You're no longer a sports car. You're no longer a name. You are nobody. No one, no thing, nowhere, in no time. And that is the moment you are pure consciousness. And that elegant moment where you are pure consciousness, that is the moment you walk through the door to the quantum field. And after looking at 4,500 brain scans, if you can teach a person, instead of narrowing their focus, to open their focus and focus on nothing, space, focus on energy, all of a sudden those different compartments of the brain that were once subdivided, they begin to unify. They begin to synchronize. The front of the brain starts talking to the back of the brain. The right side of the brain starts talking to the left side of the brain. And all of a sudden, the brain is going into psychic union, because what syncs in the brain links in the brain. And all of a sudden, the person feels more like themselves than it had in a long time. So, we've seen this in real time in our meditations, watching people do it. And now we're able to predict it when it's going to happen. And when that person is no longer thinking and feeling in the same cycle, they're gone. They're elsewhere. They are a thought and possibility. That's the moment their consciousness merges with a greater consciousness. That's the moment the subjective consciousness merges with the objective consciousness, the field. And they begin to merge together. And when they come back, they take a piece of it with it. They become more loving. They become more giving. They become more willful. They become more conscious. They become more mindful. Its nature becomes their nature. Its mind becomes their mind. And when we see this happen, we can look at the dimensional picture of the brain, and all of a sudden, you start to see it synchronizing. The two halves are coming together. The unity of polarities, the unity of duality is wholeness, is love. And the exact time that brain starts going into psychic union, that energy from these centers moves right into the heart. And boom, the field around the body can go up to 9 meters wide. Now they feel connected to something greater, no longer separate from possibility. They're no longer focusing on matter and objects and things. They've taken their attention off the electron and quantum physics, and they put it on the wave of possibility. That's what creation is. And once that energy hits the heart starts getting very organized. They're in love with the experience, and they want the moment to last. And when you see those two hemispheres come together in that psychic union, you can walk from the computer around and look at that person, and there are tears of joy rolling down their face. They feel connected to something greater. They are so whole that it is impossible for them to want. How could you want when you're whole? And I call that the natural state of being. That's who we really are. And we no longer feel separate. And the moment you step out of the way, that autonomic nervous system that's giving you life says, she's gone, let's clean house. Because the autonomic nervous system is self-organizing. And it steps in and creates order where there's disorder. We've had people stand up that have had pain their entire life, have no pain at all. And of course, their first words are, I can't believe it. It wasn't me that did this. It was the power within me that did it. And so then finding the sweet spot of the generous present moment every single day of your life. The word meditation, the actual literal translation of the word means to become familiar with. That's what it means. So if you're becoming familiar with your unconscious thoughts, and now you are so conscious of them so familiar with them that you would never go unconscious again, you are in meditation to know thyself. If you can become aware of your automatic habits and behaviors and become so aware of what comes out of your mouth or how you act, that you are so conscious and so familiar with those states you would never go unconscious again. And if you can observe those emotions in your meditation, where you're frustrated and impatient, and you keep settling your body back down into the present moment, and you're not letting your body be your mind any longer, sooner or later, the body, the servant, the animal, is going to surrender to a new mind. And when it does, there's a liberation of energy. And the body is no longer enslaved to the familiar past or trying to predict the future. And the absence of that emotional addiction is called joy. And there is a liberation of energy that takes place in the body, and we've measured it. When that occurs, then, now you're ready to create from a state of wholeness. And then as you begin to decide what thoughts you do want to put your attention on, and you repeat them and get clear on them, and you fire and wire those circuits in your brain, it's going to begin to become familiar to you. And as you begin to rehearse who you're going to be when you open your eyes, and you play it over and over, you begin to install the hardware in your brain. And if you keep doing it, the hardware becomes a software program. And if you can cultivate an elevated emotion before the actual experience, you are teaching your body what that future is going to feel like in the present moment, and you're signaling new genes and new ways that make new proteins, preparing your body for the event. And if you keep practicing, cultivating those elevated emotions, it will begin to become familiar to you.